Well, hello there, friends. Welcome to another episode of This Fantastic Life. I'm your host, Brian, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about free camping and is it too much of a good thing? Why is it harder and harder to find free camping or spots to go boondocking, especially on the East Coast? So if you're a subscriber of my channel, then you've probably seen episode 16, why I think Pennsylvania is the best spot on the East Coast to go boondocking. If you're not a subscriber, please click that van icon in the lower right hand corner of your screen there, and you can subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell if you want to hear about whenever I put out a new YouTube video. So in that previous episode, I showed you this website on the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, which controls the state forests, how you can go to this one map here and you can click on it and it will show you all the dispersed camping sites in the state of Pennsylvania in the state forests. And it used to be, up until this point in time, that you could just click on one of those. It would give you a campsite availability information, tell you a little bit about that campsite, and then you could link to a form that you could fill out and email to the forestry ranger station at that particular forest, and you could get yourself a free permit to camp there. So it was an amazingly beautiful system where you could reserve dispersed camping in the state forest. You could know in advance whether it was available or not, and you could reserve it for free online. And this was all free service. Then I got this email, the most recent time that I tried to reserve a site in the Delaware State Forest, one of our popular places that we like to go in the Pocono Mountains. And we're here in October of 2022, wanted to go camping up there, and I made my reservation, and I got an email from the Pennsylvania State Park and State Forest Reservation System that they're going to move to a new reservation system. So beginning on November the 3rd in 2022, we'll have to go to a website as shown here. It's through Reserve America, and so you'll have to pay to do your dispersed camping in the Pennsylvania State Forest, $10 fee, in addition to the $6.50 reservation fee. I asked them to send me information about why they were switching to this new program, and here is some of the information from the letter that they sent me back. So self-registration will help the Bureau to meet public demand and the modern day expectation for the convenience and improved availability and information on state forest camping. Now, I'm not so sure this is true because they already had that great interactive map that was there that you could click on it and it would already tell you whether or not the campsite was available and give you a description of the campsite. It will also improve the public's experience and help the Bureau manage the program more efficiently. What are some of the benefits of the new system to the Bureau of Forestry? Electronic records and reporting will provide improved insight to use trends to better manage the camping program and to demonstrate the benefits and demands of the state forest system to the public. Also, self-registration eliminates time spent issuing permits, providing potential net cost savings and allowing staff to better serve the public in other ways. Now, here we get to the crux of the matter, right? They don't want to be individually emailing people their permits. They would like to have an automated system that will do this for them. I can understand that. Forest Service is probably already overstretched, and the rangers that work in these offices have a lot of different things to do. However, I think that perhaps, maybe this could be something that could be changed by funding the Forest Service better using tax dollars instead of having individuals have to pay to go camping there. Also, the point of sale system being used for the reservation system will additionally allow for the use of credit cards for other permits such as firewood and ATVs. Okay, I can understand that. The new reservation system will enable the Bureau to efficiently control campsite availability and visibility on site for various management purposes and maintenance And the system can provide site alerts about specific conditions. It can provide alerts in the event of an emergency, for example, flooding, road closure, etc. How has the state forest camping program changed over the years? Permits issued have more than doubled in the past 5 years, demonstrating public interest and demand in this unique camping opportunity. More people are traveling from outside the local area to experience the many recreation opportunities in state forests. Okay. Now, I feel like I might be personally responsible for some of this increase because I was the one who left you in on the secret in episode 16 about why I think this is a great program that Pennsylvania had going here, where you could go on and actually reserve your free boondocking site in advance and know that it was your site, that you didn't have to just show up there unannounced and wonder whether or not somebody else was going to be there or not. That you could reserve it, and it was all done free of charge with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars. However, I'm not solely responsible, as this graph indicates here, because my video came out only 10 months ago, and you can see that the amount of usage has increased before that, but it has definitely jumped up in the past year. So I do feel partly responsible, and I'm sorry to all the other campers out there in the state of Pennsylvania if my letting the secret out of the bag here has in some way contributed to an increase in demand and therefore this change in policy. But let's talk about free camping in general. So I don't know about you, but for me, part of the reason that I bought my camper van, my conversion van, is so that I could boondock, right? This is the lure of the open road, to be out there, to have the freedom to just go without making a reservation in advance and show up at some place and go looking for a dispersed camping site, get away from it all, get away from the other people in the paid campgrounds, get away from the dogs barking and the children playing, etc., and just be out in nature, experiencing the great outdoors, being a responsible camper, following leave no trace principles, making sure the campfire is perfectly out at the end, dead out cold, and just actually being able to commune with nature and being one in nature. And the part of the reason that boondocking is so accessible or so convenient for people like me, it's not that we can't afford to pay for camping. It's just that, we feel like our taxpayer dollars in the state forests, in the national forests, and the Bureau of Land Management lands, in the national parks should already cover these expenses, right? We shouldn't have to pay extra to get into a national park or to have a permit to allow us access to national recreation areas and national seashores and national historic sites and things like that. It used to be, back before, I think it was 1967, when they had the feed demonstration program, that you could go to the national parks and it wouldn't cost you anything. And now there's this increasing trend toward privatization and toward fee-based systems. Now I kind of understand where people are going with this. It's just like any other thing with taxation. It's a question of funding and whether or not there is sufficient funding to manage all of the programs. And so over the years, of course, funding for the outdoors and for natural resources and conservation, the national parks, Forest Service, has all declined because people don't want to be paying higher taxes. And so the shift is then toward the people that actually use those programs are the ones that should have to bear that burden. And that would be people like me. We want to go camping in the national parks, we want to go hiking in the national parks, we got to go fishing and state forests, you want to go hunting in the state forests, then you have to show up and put your dollars where your interest is and pay for the camp fees and all the other additional services. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I personally feel like We should go back to a program more where your tax dollars are paying for this, and it's free, so that it's accessible to everybody, to people who can afford it, as well as people like myself who can afford to pay these fees. So I'd like to hear what you think about this change in policy, and also about overall thoughts on free camping in the United States, in the Bureau of Land Management area, in the national parks, and the national forests. Why is it harder and harder to find free camping? Why are boondockers kind of looked upon as homeless people that are just nomads from wandering around the land? Most of us are responsible campers, take care of ourselves, clean up the campsites, and are self-contained. We're just out there trying to enjoy nature. So leave your comments in the comments below, and stay tuned for more information about how maybe we can reverse this policy and go back to the way that it was with free dispersed camping in the state forest in the state of Pennsylvania. So I don't know if there's anything we can do about this, whether or not we can change the policy in the state of Pennsylvania about camping, dispersed camping in the state forest, but I encourage you to write to the Forest Service and to let them know what your opinion is. Okay. So I went on the DCNR website here, and I have the address. So this is Rachel Carson State Office Building, 400 Market Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17105. Or you can contact them by submitting this form right here on their website and clicking here about forestry, Bureau of Forestry webpage. I think this would be the proper place to email them, paforester@pa.gov. I also encourage you to write to your state congressman about this. Just look them up on the web and send them an email and let them know what you think about the policy and how they might change it. Thank you for watching this video. Please click like and subscribe.